I feel the need for speed.
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I just got done watching Top Gun Maverick, and with Top Gun Maverick, this is a sequel that takes place 30 years after the original movie. We follow Tom Cruise's Maverick, who is an instructor tasked with going ahead and teaching a new group of Top Gun recruits everything he can in a matter of 3 weeks for a top secret, very important mission. That's all pretty much it. Without any spoilers to you guys, this will be a spoiler-free review. Now with Top Gun Maverick, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I never really had any hype for this movie. I'm not trying to insult the Top Gun name or even Tom Cruise himself, but I always found the original film to just be enjoyable. I think it was a movie that was a fun watch with an incredible soundtrack, a lot of memorable moments that still get quoted today. So I always did find it interesting that Top Gun was kind of one of those American classics. It was one of those movies everyone had watched, everyone knows about. So when they announced the sequel for the movie 30 years later with Tom Cruise returning, I was like, okay, I wonder what that would be like. Would people still be interested in watching aviation fights go down? Then I watched the trailer and I'm a little more impressed. And I'm like, okay, this looks interesting, but I still don't know if I'm like over the moon excited wanting to see this movie right away. Then I finally go to see the movie. Oh my god, you guys. This movie has no right being as good as it is. Like, some people think to themselves whenever they announce a sequel for a movie that's like 30 years old, like the original Top Gun, you think to yourself, why? Why do that? Top Gun's a classic. It's an original. You don't want to mess with it. And I'm someone who's never against that type of thing happening, because worst case scenario, yeah, the movie could suck, but your original movie's still there. It doesn't ruin it. You can rewatch it and just pretend like that movie never happened. And then best case scenario, it's a good movie and you enjoy it. Top Gun Maverick is in that rare category that not only does this movie earn its right for existing, it surpasses the original in almost every way possible. Getting into some of the characters here, Tom Cruise returning as Maverick. You know Tom Cruise already. The man is one of the most dedicated people in Hollywood. And sometimes when you're doing these long gap sequels, the actors don't end up playing the characters. They just kind of play a version of themselves that they currently are. But with Tom Cruise, no, you still feel Maverick in him. That charming, smug, rebellious person who doesn't always play by the rules, but he's gotten a little bit more mature since the last movie. It didn't feel to me like Tom Cruise was just playing Ethan Hunt or was just playing maybe a more funnier version of himself. It really felt like he got back into the Maverick character all the way. Another pleasant surprise was all the fresh new young recruits. That's always going to be the toughest part of these legacy sequels, is making us, the audience, care about the new younger people. And even though most of them kind of fade into the background as the movie goes on, they're not an annoyance. They don't get into the way of the plot. You actually care and like the dynamic of this group. I was really invested in this team, and the movie makes it so that you don't want anyone to fail at their mission, either during training or when the actual mission happens. You want every single one of these pilots to make it out alive. But really, the heart and soul of the movie will come down to Tom Cruise and Miles Teller's character, because if you've seen the previous Tom Cruise movie or you've been watching the trailers for Top Gun Maverick, you will know Miles Teller plays the son of Maverick's previous co-pilot, who he always blamed himself for dying in the field. And man, the way this movie is able to stretch out that story point, it exceeded all my expectations. Like, literally, hear me right now, someone who could kinda care less about the Top Gun franchise, was not looking forward to a Top Gun movie, was maybe like this close to just skipping the film entirely because I wasn't as passionate about it like some people. And I was in there almost on the edge of tears. I was feeling all the pain of Miles Teller's character, their interactions between one another. It works really damn well. Still, I know this is Top Gun and people want that testosterone-filled adrenaline with men oiled up on the beach playing with each other. And the film delivers. I don't know if there was maybe anyone out there that was kind of like me, thinking to themselves, how interesting could it be to see aviation go down in today's modern age, okay? We've seen such expensive high visual effects film that create entire planets or characters fighting with each other. It feels like nowadays a lot of us are desensitized to an old school type of action film that this movie's kind of based on. But when I tell you guys, I have never been in more suspense, gut-wrenching fear and thrills of what goes down on screen when these people are piloting and going through the mission. it's not even just that it happens like in the third act, second act, it happens all throughout the movie. These guys are constantly in the air, and they did this stuff for real. If you know Tom Cruise, he wanted very minimal CGI used, and a lot of the stuff you see will be actually them piloting, of course with some camera trickery and actual professionals behind the wheel at times, but still it does make all the difference when you're watching the movie, because you literally feel like you're in that cockpit with Tom Cruise and these characters going through the strenuous motions of flying in the air, the weight of the gravity on you. I kid you not, for like 60 to 70% of this movie, my hands were just perspiring. My heartbeat was going crazy and was so nervous for the things happening on screen. You definitely need to see this in the theater, because you'll get that full experience. And like, a movie hasn't made me feel that way in a while, where I'm that insanely nervous for characters on screen. So yeah, count myself baffled. I'm so glad I decided to actually watch this movie. I think anyone who goes to see this movie this year will end up putting this film somewhere on their top 10 list, because it is just that good. I did have like one minor nitpick with the movie, and that's just the whole subplot involving the love interest in this movie. While I understand why they included it in there, because it's just like a traditional thing to do with these action films, it did sometimes feel like it was just slowing the film down quite a bit, and almost like if you just remove that entire subplot, the movie would still run as smoothly and as efficiently as ever. But I wouldn't say it's such a bearing distraction that it'll ruin the movie. It's just something that stops you from seeing more of those great action sequence and aviation flights that were keeping you on the edge of your seat. So with Top Gun Maverick, I'm gonna give action 4 stars. Super impressed with the aviation fights in this film. They are all so well done, and the fact that they went the extra mile to actually doing a lot of these sequences with very minimal CGI, you earn my respect with that. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. It's actually a pretty funny film. There's a lot of great humor thrown in there. It doesn't come overbearing or overshadow some of the more tense moments, but Tom Cruise actually will make you laugh in here along with some of the other cast members, and that just makes the film more entertaining. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I was really invested to this dynamic between Tom Cruise and Miles Teller, the history they have with each other, the way it's played out on screen, plus the mission at hand actually feels important. You want them to succeed. You don't want anyone to die. It was all really well done. Horror in the film is kind of hard for me to pinpoint, because you will be feeling a lot of fear throughout this movie, but I wouldn't say something scary happens on screen, so I'm gonna give it half a star. But with that said, suspense in the film, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. You need to mentally prepare yourself. When you sit down, you are gonna be clenching every part of your body, perspiring, feeling nervous, heart palpitations. The movie will affect you in that way, and it's kind of just a fun thrill ride to be feeling that for almost 2 hours. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it an A+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an A+. And critically, I'm gonna give it an A+. For Top Gun Maverick, this deserves the 3C guarantee. I cannot believe I just said that right there. I had no anticipation, no hype for this movie, but like Top Gun Maverick, it's gonna be another iconic classic movie. I just feel it in my gut. This will be another film that inspires another young generation to go enlist in the Air Force, become pilots, because Tom Cruise just, again, makes it look like such a cool job. Let me know what you guys thought of Top Gun Maverick if you got around to seeing it. If you're someone who didn't enjoy the movie, I would love to hear from you, because I'm like, how did you not like this? And again, everything, be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.